Welcome to Super Dope Plus Ultra. I'm Kelly. I'm here as always with Kyle. And as a special guest, we have our friend Feds here as well. Hey Feds, how you doing?
Good, Kelly. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. I'm so glad you're joining us for this episode because this episode was amazing. Do you agree?
Kicked ass.
Yeah,
Kicked ass.
it did.
Feds, Rico, clap, 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 clap. This episode was pretty good. I enjoyed it as well.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm slowly starting to hate this fucking show. I know that that's a very strong statement to make in the first 30 seconds of the podcast, but you guys know me, man. I say all sorts of wild stuff, and then I stick to it. I have some stick-to-itiveness that you could write some books about, but I will not get into my frustration with the show quite yet because there was a lot to like about this episode.
Hell yeah, there was. Really quick before we jump into that, Feds, overall, how have you been feeling about these episodes, these like team versus team?
I mean, I like the whole premise of it, like the whole, practice against each other kind of thing. But they really need to do one fight, one episode, next episode. I hate this breaking up shit. I don't like it.
Yeah, I agree for sure. I do think that they're like drawing it out. But then now I feel really bad because I had said I wish this episode would be half the fight and then half the other fight. But now I'm like, yo, this episode was so good. And I'm so glad we got to have like a whole second part to this fight because I thought it was awesome. So maybe I should just have faith in the show. I don't know.
Well, they got something right in the pacing for this episode in that each character pretty much has like a nice little moment that's like, not super short. It's not super long, but it's just enough to let you be like, yo, Todoroki, wow, Ojiro, wow, Iida.
Yeah.
Like even Shoji at the end, like they all have their nice moments. It moves quickly, it moves nicely. So even though we didn't get to see the start of the fourth match with Bakugo and his team yet, I think this one was pretty satisfying because it didn't rely too much on just one member of the team it was well paced. Good job, guys. Good job, Studio Bones.
Yeah, good job. I mean, I was pumped up. I was so into this episode. I feel like I wish I could just binge the whole show all over again after watching this episode.
Wow.
I'm like in love with all these characters all over again. I'm like so proud of them. I thought I could cry.
We're at episode 96 this week, match 3 conclusion. But you want to go back and watch the preceding 95 episodes, you wild MFer.
Maybe not, because the whole first season I just like can't stand Midoriya, so I don't think I should go back to the beginning.
Why, 'cause he's just crying and breaking his hands all the time?
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm like, come on,
I don't like
get
that
it
shit
together.
either. Crybaby little bastard. Stop breaking your fingers, dummy.
Stop crying.
Yeah,
God,
get
you
a
cry
tissue.
a lot.
Well, should we just dive in?
Good. Dive in.
All right. So it starts off, I think the other thing they did so great is that they gave us a really short recap this time.
Yeah.
It was super quick. Thank goodness, because I cannot stand it. It's like, it puts me in a bad mood right at the beginning. So I was really happy about that. We got a super quick recap. Shows like my man Iida just busting out of the ice. I was like, what? Right? With those big ass mufflers. Has he always had those big ass mufflers? They were enormous. I was like, how did I miss that before? Okay,
Nah,
they're
man,
like 3 feet long.
Yeah, they got that big because he's been, sitting in the
ripping them
woods,
out,
ripping shit out his calves. It's very disgusting, but we saw
so
the benefit, saw the fruits of his manual labor.
So they just show us being like totally a badass again. And the other thing I liked about this a lot is that I think they used like color really well in this part, in this scene. The animation was super cool. They had a lot of really dynamic like drawing styles right there. It just really showed how awesome and like overwhelmingly fast Iida was. To the point where Mudman is like, I gotta get out of here. And he just like sinks into the ground and then starts swimming through it like the ocean, which I thought was
very weird.
Yeah, really, really weird.
It was a beautiful scene to the point where, like you said, some of like the colors, it works. It has to be like a very color driven kind of scene because everything's just moving so fast. But
yes,
Iida looks like a goddamn figure skater out there doing his thing.
Oh my God,
just
right?
Yes.
Hitting his moves and yelling about how he's going to take this criminal Mudman to jail. He's very committed to the role of being the number one hero. I love it.
Yeah, I like when he gets like that too. He's like, "Villain, you're not gonna get away from me." It's the best. Midoriya even mentions that he thinks that Iida's faster than Gran Torino. And I
Yeah.
was like, shit. Like,
He was
Yeah,
pretty
shit.
fast.
That was fast.
That's no small feat.
That is no small feat. I was so impressed. Um, but Ida's like, well, I guess that he's gone to help his teammates, you know, and they kind of just leave us. We don't know what he's gonna do. He's like, is he waiting? Is he gonna pop out and surprise attack me? Is he gonna go meet up with his teammates? I don't know. And so we kind of just pop over to a different scene. Like you said, we spend like little bits of time with each fight. So we pop over and we see Ojiro versus that spiral guy whose name I think is Ren.
Kaibara.
Kaibara.
It's
Yeah.
his last name, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I Spiral, that's his hero name. I only wrote everyone's hero name down.
Quirk Gyrate.
Yeah. Yeah. And
For those not
nice
watching the video,
dance, yeah.
For those not watching the video on YouTube, Feds just did a very great gyrate dance. You can go subscribe to the YouTube. Links are in the show notes.
Yeah, it's the only way you can see it, guys.
Yeah, go watch Feds do his weird fucking spinny dance. That's great in a weird way. Yeah.
The Ojiro versus Spiral like fight, I don't know. I feel like it was kind of weird because all of the people were just talking about how Ojiro has like a really ordinary, normal fighting style, which I guess they're just referring to the fact that he just like is a physical fighter. But I don't really think there's anything ordinary about having like an enormous tail.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I thought that was strange. They're like, it's an ordinary fight. And I'm like, this guy's got like an extra limb. He's hanging from the pipes and using it to propel himself and stuff. I'm like, I don't think this is ordinary, but I guess that's just me because I don't live in a hero universe, whatever.
Yeah. I think the thing with Ojiro, this is one of my favorite little clips because it's beautifully animated and like choreographed. The fight, it could like we're talking about here, like the characters are talking about, it could be a pretty boring, like whatever kind of fight because neither of them have a super flashy quirk like in comparison to like Todoroki or Iida and what they're doing right now.
Right.
But it's a pretty cool little sequence. Ojiro's like entire thought process there of like, I can't let this thing hit me. His, support things on his fingertips. Like, I'll just bust open everything if it touches me. Yeah,
gross.
Disgusting to think about. But like, he also has that moment where he's like, "What's this thing in my heart?" And I was like, "Yo, so you're about to have is he having a heart attack?"
That's what I thought too. I was like, "What's going on right now?"
This young man,
you're like 15 years old. You shouldn't be having a heart attack.
For real. Like, are they foreshadowing some shit? Like, is Ojiro going to be out in the field doing a work study at some point in the next few seasons and then boom, just drops dead of a heart attack? So I'll be upset.
Yeah, I thought that was like, are you having panic or do we need to call?
Is this heart palpitations? Is the scary drillman making you nervous?
I mean, I thought I was going to have a heart attack once. Have you ever had like too much caffeine? I had this energy drink. It's called cocaine.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, cool. It's like illegal in a lot of places. A friend of mine came back from Texas.
Even cooler.
Yeah, and I drank it because I was like, I can totally handle it. And I literally thought I was going to die.
Well, I'm glad you didn't die. Also, yes, I've
too.
Totally felt that way.
Yeah, so I think maybe it was just stress. But yeah, oh my God, when he's like, the things on his fingers will take chunks out of me. Ugh, yeah. Gross.
When he put like the context of take chunks out of me, especially that big girthy tail. Oof.
Yeah. Girthy.
Ugh.
Yeah, so that was gross. But then like right when things are looking a little grim, maybe Iida just swoops in there and is like, I'm gonna take this motherfucker to jail. And it reminded me really hard of when Froppy did that in the first fight. Remember how Froppy right away was like, I got this guy, I'm taking him to jail, you guys hold down the fort. Iida does the same thing. He's like, I'm taking this spiral guy out of here. You guys hold down the fort, go back up Todoroki or whatever, and I'll be back, bitches.
No fucking around. Cool. Go to jail.
Yeah, see you later, alligator. Let's see. Oh my God. And so this was my favorite part, I'm not gonna lie. So we look over at Tetsu versus Todoroki. This fight, oh my God, I'm like in love with Tetsu. He's so cool, isn't he? He's like everything I like about Kirishima, but like I don't know. It's just like getting too.
But with kind of like the
Kirishima.
personality of Bakugo at the same time,
Yeah,
because
a
he
little
like yells
bit.
all the time and stuff.
Yeah, he's not quite as sweet. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just love it. I thought he was so cool. So this fight, he's like all on the ice, and he's like, "Your ice isn't gonna work on me, bro. I don't have any skin, so like can't freeze my skin off. Gross. Okay, gross." And then he's like, "Yo, your fire's not gonna work on me because I'm made out of steel, and this is the highest level of steel that I can achieve right now. Bitch, have you ever trained in an oven?"
Yeah. I was like,
Like, what?
you ever sat in an oven before? No, I have not.
No, and I don't recommend it. Don't
No.
do it. It's a terrible idea. Like, what are they doing to these kids at school? Like,
No, I don't think that's school. I don't think the oven was on school grounds. I think Tetsu like probably went to a local eatery and was like, "Hey, you guys have a pretty good big oven. You mind if I spend some time in there?"
Yeah, it looked like a brick oven pizza place or something.
Yeah,
I don't
Tetsu did
know.
some research as to where he could go train. He knew the school wouldn't be cool with popping him in an oven.
You think so? I don't know, because they did some shady stuff at that training camp when they were like in the woods. I don't know. I was like, what kind of extracurriculars are you doing here? This is so weird. And then here's my thing.
Yep.
Is what if that didn't work? Right? Like, what if he was like gonna train in an oven and it turns out that his steel is not
Yeah.
like fireproof enough for that? Like,
Yeah. Todoroki would have melted
what
his
are you
ass.
doing?
Who's liable
So-
for that? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that was
as a
crazy.
small business owner, I don't think I would assume that kind of risk. I'd tell that crazy metal high school student to fuck off.
Yeah, can you imagine the insurance claim? Somebody like came into my restaurant and sat in
So
my
this-
oven.
This crazy 15-year-old guy made out of steel.
Goes to UA. Can't say no. Yeah, this shit was crazy. So my respect for him, I was like, oh my god, this is nuts. And then just this is my bad because in my note here, all I wrote was flashback. But then I didn't write what the flashback was.
Oh, good job. You want me to help you out?
Yeah, what's the flashback here?
I think it went back to like
Endeavor?
I think it was an Endeavor flashback.
There you go.
Yeah, I figured. I was like, why didn't I write anything? Why did I just write flashback? I must have thought it was obvious at the time,
Yeah.
but now I cannot remember. So Todoroki has a flashback. I'm assuming it's from when he was little, right?
Yep.
Like in training with his dad.
Like push your
No,
limits.
just
You
like
can,
the
you can do
abuse.
this. You can do this. Blah blah
No.
blah.
Just dredging up the abuse.
We talked
per
about this flashback like in depth I think last week.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's
And
the
you were
same
like,
one.
yeah, so I feel like the prominence burn's going to be real important. And I'm like, oh, is it? And then this
Yeah.
week, you're like, there was a flashback? What was it about?
What was it? Yeah, I just wrote
Wait, so
flashback.
it's a Tetsu Todoroki flashback? What do we flash back to for Tetsu? I don't know. The
His
oven?
time training in the oven.
Yeah.
I don't know. That might have been it. Because I did just write, bro, you ever spend time in an oven? And then I wrote flashback. That's not useful. So Todoroki's like, yo, I gotta get hotter. Hey. And
Kelly, you were in rare fucking form today.
oh my gosh, it's because this episode I'm so pumped up. I literally love it so much. I feel like it's reinvigorated my love for My Hero. Thank God, because I was really bumming like last week. I was like, why did we do a podcast about this show?
I feel the same way
Anyway.
every goddamn day.
Do you? But so then Todoroki says, I'm gonna he's like, burn yourself to become the person you want to be. And I'm like, these fictional characters are like so badass, but maybe like this isn't really good for people to be watching. You know what I mean? Like
Why
during
not?
after a pandemic when people have like nothing to lose. You know what I mean?
They're just
I'm
going to
like,
start running around lighting
burn
themselves on
yourself.
fire. Yeah, that's fucked
yeah,
up.
they're gonna start doing some crazy ass shit. I'm like, Todoroki, like, that's bad advice. Like, no, don't burn yourself. But I guess that's the same thing as sitting in an oven to train or like ripping out your mufflers. But it just sounds worse. You know what I mean? Like, burn yourself to become the person you want to be.
I'm just confused as to how you tied this into the real world and people coming out of a pandemic. Do you think people are going to start reemerging into public and lighting themselves on fire to prove a point about how tough they are?
I'm just going to say that so far in this year, we've had more mass shootings in the United States than we have basically ever in the first 5 months of a year. And I'm a huge believer that it's because we just went through like a crazy pandemic and people felt really isolated and lost their jobs and don't have mental health access and have nothing to lose and just feel like crazy people and are going to go out swinging. So yeah, I don't really think we should be saying burn yourself to become the person you want to be. It's like, I don't know. I feel like we're about to have some kind of people just going out in a blaze of glory. I'm like, Todoroki, keep those things to yourself. And maybe you should see someone because that doesn't sound healthy.
All right, you got there.
Yeah.
Good job.
Just saying. Anyone out there who's not feeling their best, like
I mean, I feel like Todoroki's doing his
to
part
call.
by like, yo, put down the guns and just light yourselves on fire. Mass light yourselves on fires. That's way cooler than mass shootings. Because only one asshole gets taken out, and it's the idiot who mass lights himself on fire like an idiot.
I feel like I have to put a little thing in here that's like the values said by the individuals on this podcast do not represent the podcast as a whole.
Nah,
like,
fuck that. I edit
Superdome
this. If it's in here, it's in here, and we mean it. We mean it very seriously.
Oh no.
Moving
All right. Well, let's move on. Yes. So, we get to see All Might again, which every time we see All Might, I'm always like, oh, Kyle's going to be so happy we got to see All Might. And he's just like reflecting on Todoroki being like his dad and having, Endeavor's firepower.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about this sequence is like the heat that comes off of Todoroki and like it breaks the security cameras. It completely starts to demolish the settings around them.
Yes.
That pony girl, like the level below and the tunnel's wicked far away, she can feel the heat, but All Might notices like that power, that firepower, pun, I guess, fully intended, because it's fire, but also like it's his power and it's firepower. So
yeah.
It's that of Endeavor. So basically for this match, what I was waiting for, especially based off of what we talked about last week, was I was waiting for Todoroki to yell the words prominence burn.
Yeah, me too.
It didn't happen, but that implied sort of force and power. The one thing I didn't like about the Todoroki thing is he kind of describes it, and Mudman kind of throws it in his face. Like, had you just gone with fire, if you'd, ironically, cold-heartedly gone with the fire instead of the ice, you could have won this thing from the jump if you'd wanted. And it's sort of the same idea of what he goes through with Midoriya in the sports festival of why don't you use your left side? Why don't you use your fire quirk? Oh, it's to try to prove a point to your dad, And I feel like with this match today, we kind of just recover the same thing. Like, we get it. You don't like your dad. We get it. You prefer to use your ice first. We get it. It's not your first inclination to use your fire. Why did I have to learn this lesson with you again? Didn't we learn it last time? All right, cool. It's much more powerful this time, but I feel like maybe you could have yelled a prominence burn and made me feel like there was a little bit more progress than just you opting to finally use your fire when it's already probably a little bit too late.
You know what I think, actually, which is really different than I was thinking last time? Do you think that he actually will use the same moves as Endeavor? Like, what if he kind of gets something that's basically like the prominence burn, but he just is like, fuck you, dad, and calls it something else? He
doesn't call it anything because he's a rebel.
Yeah. Maybe. I think that would be.
Before he let out all that, he was just tells Tetsu to be like, he's just like, shut up. And he just starts burning him.
Yeah.
I mean, that entire sequence too, like Tetsu's doing his best. Like you guys were talking about him being like a more intense Kirishima. And I can totally see that. Like, he's less soft-hearted, whatever. You know who he is. I've said this, probably not on this feed officially yet, because we haven't had a big excuse to talk about Tetsu to this point. But I know in the past I've said it. He's Goku. Like, Tetsu only wants to fight straight up to like test his power against other people, and that's what he gets up for every single morning. And he's real simple about it, and he's real excited about it, and he sometimes has a really gruff, mean voice about it, unlike Goku. But other than like the tone of their voice, they're pretty much the exact same stupid idiot who just wants to get into a big old fight to test how strong they are. But he's just like kneeing Todoroki in the stomach, and Todoroki's like, and he gives him I can't say it in Japanese. I almost want to try to say it, but I'll sound foolish, so I won't. He gives him a go beyond, and I'm like, ooh, Tetsu's about to plus ultra his intestines up through his mouth. He does not do that because Shoto tells him to STFU, and burns the shit out of him. And it's all, and they have like the exchange, like, I know how much this has taken out of me, Todoroki. Can only imagine how it's, feeling
What
on
it's
your
doing to
body,
you. Yeah.
not made of steel. Such a cool scene. I loved it.
It was. He says he's like, this is now just a battle of endurance and I can stick it out. And I was like,
Because I'm made out of steel, motherfucker.
yeah, I'm made out of steel. Oh my god, it was literally so crazy. And then my favorite like line that he says is he's like, those who don't risk it all in training won't risk it all in battle. And that just like sealed the deal for me. I was like, Tetsu Tetsu, Tetsu Tetsu, name so nice, you say it twice. Like, I'm into it. Okay, like, love him.
No wonder you sealed yourself in an oven, bro. You're ready to risk it all.
So cool. Yeah, I know.
The best.
Yeah, I also liked his line when he said higher ranks and limits are there to be surpassed. I thought that was a really cool line too.
Yeah, he was just like so badass and powerful. I was like,
I just want him and Red Riot to hang out and have their own little spin-off comic.
Yeah, me too.
And then just be like the stupid, hard-headed bros.
I know. I want to get like more. I wonder if like some of the side comics have like bits from when they were in their training together. Because remember how they went to the agency together?
And
it was both of them.
The fist guy just punches him in the head and he's like, you don't know how to make a cup of tea. I can't think of
what's his
I don't
name?
remember his name.
We suck. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember either. But
Rock
they
hand.
did train together, so
Rock fist.
Rock fist. I feel like, am I making this up or did he wear like a suit? Wasn't he like a business looking man?
Yeah. And if memory serves, I don't think you ever really see his face. You just ever see him from like a third person over the shoulder kind of perspective, and then he punched him in the fucking head.
From far away. That was weird.
It's a beauty, eh?
So all that drama is like done. So we have to go and see some other peeps. So now we've got like Pony Girl versus Shoji. I'm just going to refer to her as Pony Girl.
Yeah, not to be confused with Pony Boy of S.E. Hinton fame.
Yeah. Not to be super weird, but I'm obsessed with My Little Pony.
Yeah. I feel like they made this character for weirdos like you.
Yeah. No, I'm like really into My Little Pony. Like the soundtrack's amazing. The show is so good. Like the
I was hoping that you were just being like, you're into My Little Pony this week because this character's been in our lives for the last week or whatever. But this is like this is like a real thing, an ongoing thing. How long have you been a My Little Pony person?
Since like my older daughter kind of got into the show, and I was like, yo, this show bops. Like, what is this? Like, it's so wholesome. Like the power of friendship. Like, and then all the ponies have their own little like personalities, like honesty, loyalty. It's just like so cute and I love it.
Shit bops, yeah.
It bops, it really does.
So the Brony community is one of the
not
only...
for me, no.
Yeah, it's one of the only fandoms on the internet that is demonstrably worse than, say Dragon Ball fans or Star Wars fans.
Yeah, no, they're
like,
garbage.
Bronies are the worst. And there's also some horror stories about Brony like fan conventions that, Bronies planned and tried to host, and voice actress Tara Strong was caught up in the middle of it. It was a nightmare. I'll find it. I'll send it to y'all. It's a very interesting video.
Yeah, I mean,
if
I don't
only
know.
to laugh at them.
I don't know if this is true at all because I just like don't look stuff up. I hear it and I'm like, cool, yeah.
And you just assume.
Yeah, I'm one of those. And I've heard that they had a character on the show that had been like a fan with leukemia, and his like wish was to be like in the show. And then they specifically were like, Bronies, please don't like make weird porn about this. And they were like, fuck no, we're gonna make weird porn about everything. And oh god, just horrible. It's really garbage.
Rule 34, right? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
I think it's rule 34 is like, if it exists, there's a porno version of it. Even if it is a fucking dying pony kid from My Little Pony with leukemia, there'll definitely be a porn with that one.
Show is really good, so I'm just letting you know, like, I'm really into it.
Fucking weird. I'll try not to hold this newfound information against you. But no promises, because that's weird.
No, I'm like really open about it. I want to get a pony tattoo on my butt. A unicorn.
Okay.
A little one. Just a little one.
You know that thing that we talked about where you overshare things?
I don't remember.
You're approaching that limit.
Well, all right. So we'll back away. So it's Pony Girl versus Shoji. And to be honest, like, I really like Shoji. I feel like he doesn't get a lot of credit, but I think he's a cool character. He's really nice and polite to all of the girls in class. Like, every time he's on screen, he's always just helpful and cool. And I like him, honestly. So Pony Girl is so fucking rude. Okay. And it's like, when I go to the aquarium, I avoid the octopus ones because they're ugly and I hate them. And she, like,
You missed her best line, Kelly.
what are you talking about? Isn't that what she says?
No, she does. But before that, she says, "Sorry, tentacle."
Oh, yeah.
And I absolutely
You're
forgot
right.
that was Shoji's hero name, Tentacle, which
Tentacle.
sounds just like Tentacool or Tentacruel, which
You're
is
right.
Pokemans. So I've already got Pokemon on the brain when I hear that line, even though it's stupidly, ridiculously delivered by her. She says it again later a second time. "Sorry, Tentacle."
The other thing she says that I think is so funny later on is when Ojiro captures her and she's like, "You're holding me so ordinary." And I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah,
What does that even mean?
Weird.
Yeah, the way you got
So
me was
weird.
so darn ordinary. And it's another thing that she says in English. So, like,
Yeah.
I feel like this character is a character that if I was a kid in Japan, I would get the joke. But I feel like I'm only getting half of the joke when I see this one. Because when she slips in and out of English, it's not like abundantly clear why she says certain things
Yeah,
in English
why?
versus the other ones. But then also, I mean, this is me. I don't know if I'm just like making shit up in my brain here, hearing things that aren't really there. But she doesn't, because I don't speak Japanese, but she doesn't speak very good Japanese. The Japanese that she does speak, it's like very kind of, I don't know. I guess my musician brain wants to say the word staccato, which doesn't really make sense in terms of language or speaking sometimes, but like it's very short, it's very choppy. And like when you read the subs of what she's supposedly saying, she doesn't exactly sound super well spoken. And like we get that she's a blonde girl who I guess gets so upset, they said last week, that she just automatically starts speaking
English.
in English. Like I'm only getting half the joke. Can somebody please explain to me why this is funny? I know that it's funny, but I just want to get all of it.
You know what else is so weird about that though is that she says like, "Oh, it's so ordinary," and that's the second time that Ojiro's been called ordinary, because earlier on in the episode they say that he fights so ordinary. So I'm like, is this like a long running thing where Ojiro's just really normal except that he has a tail and like everyone just makes fun of him for it all the time? Like,
He's so ordinary, he doesn't even die a very heroic death. He dies of a heart attack in the next season.
yeah, right.
Fucking rest in
Could you
peace.
imagine?
Rest in power, King Ojiro.
So now I wonder, does Pony Girl in the dub, does she speak Japanese instead of English when during those lines?
Ooh,
That'd be
good
interesting.
question.
I think that'd be
I
interesting.
never thought of that. Yeah, that's weird.
Yo, so
Because would they just have her
simuldubs.
speak English both times? I don't know. That's strange.
Simuldubs are 2 weeks behind, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So next week, I think we'll find out
Make
Yeah.
a note.
how they handle that part of the translation. That'll be
That'll be
cool to
interesting.
see. Hopefully she speaks Japanese. I mean, she speaks worse English than Mudman.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, he speaks
her English
very
is terrible.
fluently.
Mudman. I like Mudman.
Yeah,
I
me
like
too.
Mudman too. He's so cool.
His once Iida kicks his fucking stupid mask off though,
Yeah.
and I see like how his mouth has like a Jack Skellington kind of mouth
Yeah,
thing
it's just
going
all
on.
teeth.
Yeah, I don't like that so
no,
much.
I was still super into it.
Yeah, keep the mask on, Mudman. Keep the mask on, but let's talk English to each other because we have a cool accent.
Oh man. Anyhoozle, so Pony Girl's being a real jerk to Shoji. And oh my god, poor thing broke my heart. He's like, "I'm used to people being scared of me."
Yeah.
Be a
Yeah,
hero,
he's ugly.
man.
Yeah.
So what?
What do you mean, so
Ugly.
what? He's ugly. He knows.
The way they can do is he's got eyes coming out of his arms and shit.
Sometimes
Oh.
mouths instead of eyes, too.
Yeah.
Like, he knows.
All right.
He has a
well,
mirror at his house. He's aware.
Doesn't mean he's not a nice guy. He's just weird looking.
I know. I just feel like that was so mean and rude and unnecessary. Broke my little heart. But so then he does this thing. So she's like shooting all these horns at him. And he's like octo arm punches or whatever.
Octoblow.
Octo blow. And, I don't know if you guys have ever watched any One Piece, but I was like, yo, this like reminded me so hard of when Luffy does his Gatling guns. So he's got like rubber arms and he'll fight people and he calls it Gatling gun and it looks just like that. So I was like, yeah, this looks like Luffy.
Yeah, and before Luffy, it looks like Ranma Saotome doing the Kachutenshin Amaguriken technique, the chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
I
Just
feel like you
rapid
didn't even
punches.
speak English right there. What was that?
I was Japanese. Let me try again. Kachutenshin Amaguriken. That's Ranma Saotome's roasting chestnuts on an open fire technique.
Oh, okay.
But it's the same kind of idea, just like rapid, super fast punches that like you
Yeah,
can't
really
even really
quick.
see. And the way he learns it is by plucking chestnuts out of a fire in the second season from Cologne, I want to say. Shampoo's grandma. Yo, I love Ranma. Y'all like Ranma? I'll do a Ranma one just because I like that shit. I don't even care about ratings. Nobody
just
will
gonna
listen to that one
say.
except me. And it'll be fine because I'll love it.
You know it so well. That was so surprising.
Kachutenshin Amaguriken. Wow. I knew Ranma before I knew Dragon Ball. Like, that's how much I love Ranma.
Wow.
Yep.
What's that about anyway?
It's about a
you can tell me
boy.
later.
He's a 16-year-old martial artist who's him and his father go on a training mission to China to a cursed training ground called Jusenkyo. And it's basically like this series of ponds with all these little sticks sticking straight up out of them. And you're supposed to fight on top of the sticks. So they get there and they start fighting on top of the sticks before the training ground tour guide can tell them why it's so cursed. And basically each pond has like a sad story that happens there. So it's the spring of cursed spring of drowned girl, cursed spring of drowned panda, pig, duck, cat, etc. Ranma falls into the cursed spring of drowned girl. So now, whenever he gets splashed with cold water, he turns into a girl. And then when he gets splashed with hot water, he turns back into a boy. His dad has the same thing going on, except with a panda. His main rival Ryoga, has the same thing going on, except he turned into a small little black piggy. Lots of fun stuff like that. But martial arts hijinks, romantic, harem-esque kind of comedy, because like every woman who's introduced into the show is somehow engaged to Ranma in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, he gets engaged to his dad's best friend's daughter, Akane Tendo, and they're supposed to get married and carry on the anything school martial arts, Tendo Training Hall. You know what I'm saying? And Furinkan, Japan.
Wow. That was a wild ride. Okay.
What, you don't like it when you turn into a girl and splash with cold water, Kelly? That's very closed-minded of you. Let's carry on before I get upset.
I always turn into a girl when I'm splashed with cold water.
Do you turn back into a dude when splashed with hot water?
Hey.
Ew.
Wow. And when did this come out? That seems very progressive.
Right. So the best thing about it is it was made by a woman.
Okay.
I think the manga started, I want to say in 86 or 87.
Wow.
Right.
And the main characters have a guy sometimes and a girl sometimes. I feel like that was
and there's like lots
not
of
widely accepted
in
in
the first couple of seasons, especially, there's like lots of boobs in it. So that's why it was never successful in America, because they could never show it on television. But like a big part of some of those early seasons is Ranma being like, you know, struggling with the fact that he's got, this feminine part that he has to deal with all the time. He's got really nice titties and all the boys want to touch his titties. So like he has to navigate through like that gross out of being fondled by dudes, but also he toes the line with like using it to his advantage in like really gross ways at certain points. So like it's a really funny show. It's more of like,
I'd like it.
It's more like a slice of life sort of anime, like once you get past certain premises of the early parts of the show. But I want to say the anime started in 89, and it was more successful on home video in America back in the day. You'd buy 2 episodes for $25 at your local anime store. Exactly. That was my first fucking very expensive anime habit when I was 5, 6, 7 years old. But you know what? It's available on Hulu now for, I think it's 7 seasons long, 160 plus episodes. It's a good watch.
I might check that out. It sounds funny.
The first 2 seasons are really, really good. It gets a little crazy after the 4th one. After the 5th one, I haven't watched most of it. So tread lightly.
Problematic, but that's because
it's super problematic. It's also made by the woman who made it, I believe, went on to, I'm going to feel like an asshole if I got this wrong. Rumiko Takahashi, I believe she's the one who went on to make Inuyasha. So
I love Inuyasha.
Inuyasha is like her claim to fame here in America,
Mhm.
but I mean it is in Japan as well, obviously.
No,
But
that would make so much sense. I've seen a picture of the main character one time, and the style does look very similar to the art style of Inuyasha. And I remember thinking that once. I was like, is this a weird frame from Inuyasha that I don't remember? But then it was like Ramna 1/2 or whatever. And I was like, I don't know what this is. Never mind.
And it is Ranma 1/2 for those curious out there. It's not Ranma half. You say Ranma half, I'm going to fucking go to your house and kick you in the dick. Because I know you're a dude.
Okay.
Because why else would you be listening to this stupid show? Talking about
I listened
anime.
to the show.
Yeah, but you were on the show. A little different.
Yeah, okay.
Good point.
Well, that was a fun that was very interesting. Okay.
Yeah, Ranma super dope. Coming your way.
Back to what we were here for. Pony Girl, right? She's like trying to get Shoji. He's punching all the horns. And then Ojiro shows up and Mudman shows up. So now we've got like all these players together. And Ojiro catches her. She says that thing about being caught so ordinary. Yeah, so ordinary. It's very weird. Mudman sinks them. And then Ojiro, being wicked cool and not ordinary, okay, does this like twisty thing with his tail that he calls Fist of the Tail Swamp Smack Spin.
Pretty appropriate that he's like in the middle of a swampy sort of terrain, right?
No.
Did he already have the name picked out for this move, or did he just make it up on the fly?
I think he made it up on the fly.
Me too. It sounds like a tongue twister. Like try to say that 5 times fast.
And you know why he fucking made it like that? Because he's anything but ordinary.
Right.
Not
he's
only
so cool.
can he say these crazy long tongue twisters, but he can also think of these really cool names on the fly because he's not ordinary. He's extraordinary.
Yeah.
Yes. Extraordinary. That's gonna put that song stuck in my head. Anyway.
Yeah. Are you singing the version from the Little Rascals movie?
Probably the one from the Parent Trap movie.
Maybe. I'm just thinking of that little dickhead from the Little Rascals with the glasses and the suit, and then he burps up. Then Alfalfa burps up soap. You know what I'm saying?
No, because I've never seen it.
Dude, what is the matter with you? How you were like 2 years younger than me, right?
Yeah.
There's no excuse to not know that Little Rascals movie. It was a huge part of all of our childhoods. Did you not own a VCR as a child?
Of course I owned a VCR. Wow, so offensive. I don't know. I was watching other shit.
Not the Little Rat. Carry on, Kelly.
Yeah. Anyway, so like I said, he does that cool thing, which like sends Mudman flying, and I'm like, Ojiro, you're so fucking cool. But Pony Girl like ends up getting the one up on him and has her horns come out and like stab him and then fly him all the way to jail.
To the moon.
To the moon and back.
Flying there was like an understatement. It was like eat a shit.
Yeah, it was fast.
It was really fast.
Yeah, really fast.
In the way that whole piece of it plays out, like it's because we talked about the chunks coming out of Ojiro's tail before, watching his tail get stabbed by this horse girl's horns. Yeah. Pretty gross.
Yeah.
And then I think Vlad makes the comment, like, no matter how they get there in terms of the jail, the capture jail. But for a second, I was like, did she just imprison herself as well?
That's what I thought too.
But no, she did not.
Nope.
Because
apparently you can't imprison yourself in your own jail.
That makes sense. Yeah, she definitely took a very creative route to get homeboy there. His ordinary big girthy tail having ass. Way to go, pony lady, pony girl.
Do you remember what I said her hero name was last time?
Rockafetti, Ponafetti, or something.
Ponetti, something like
Ponetti.
that.
I know it was. I know the ending of it. Yes.
I didn't write it down this time.
I think it's Rockfetti.
Rocketti.
That's the shit.
That's what it was. Yes. Okay. So
that'd be the worst cupcake flavor. But anyway, yes.
You never know. Could have like Pop Rocks in it. It'd be spicy.
Oh shit! You changed the whole game on this. All right. Okay. Good job.
All right. So now we got one in jail on each side. We're tied. We head back over to Todoroki, who's like not doing so hot. He's like he's
but ironically, he's super hot though.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's like feeling dizzy, and so then he has another flashback about like going beyond his limits. And this is when we see that like he really pulls all of the heat into one spot, into his fist. And I'm thinking to myself, like, we're about to see Todoroki do some kind of prominence burn or whatever. I had already had One Piece like on the brain because of the Gatling gun thing, and I thought that this looked like Fire Fist when Ace uses his Fire Fist. Rest in peace, Ace, because I've never cried so hard in an anime as I did when he died.
R.I.P. King.
Oh my god, it's horrible. And but we don't even get to see like, oh, it was so anticlimactic. You know what I mean? We've got all that build
It
up.
really was.
It really was. Oh man, it was so frustrating. So Mudman shows up again, and at this point I was like, yo, Mudman's like the MVP of this whole fucking fight. And he says like, Tetsu, you're gonna melt. And he melts the ground so they all sink in. And it kind of ends, that sort of ends like a lot of the big fights. Iida swoops in, like you said, kicks him in the face.
Kicks
I
his
like-
mask clean off
yeah.
his stupid face. And I
like
say
his
that
face.
very confidently because his face is stupid.
I liked it.
Did you see how his chin's connected to the rest of his head? It's so dumb.
Yeah, I did. I don't know. I thought it was cool. Interesting.
would.
Yeah. Reminds me of like a scarecrow, kind of. I don't know.
Ooh. Yeah. Good call.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, like, I get, like, in terms of his quirk, why they call him Mudman, I guess, because he can soften the ground and turn it to mud. But
And he's really flexible. They always talk about how flexible he is, like in fighting and stuff. He's like, go with the flow.
yeah, even like his flexibility in terms of adapting to a plan on the
Yeah.
fly. Like, I can start speaking English just as quickly as you, Pony Girl, no
Mm.
problem. Rock Fetty, or whatever the hell your name is. Rock Ready. What's her name again?
Rocketti.
Rocketti. What a dumb name.
I think it sounds
What
like
is
a
that
band name.
It does. What does it even have to do with horses or horns or My Little Pony or
Nothing.
being like an ignorant American? Nothing at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Rocketti. But anyway, Mudman, in terms of his like his aesthetic, I guess, like his outfit choice, his face thing, I don't know how to better describe it than that.
Mm.
I don't know. I guess I just don't get mud out of the rest of him. Now that you've said Scarecrow, I'm like, shit, why didn't I give him some kind of like Scarecrow-ish based name? Because that would make sense with his face. I don't know. Thinking too much. Can't turn it off.
Well, I like his name. I think it works well for him. I think his outfit looks like Saro's.
Yeah.
His
It
costume.
does.
Very similar.
Yeah. Orange and white kind of color scheme.
Yeah, and like sort of like a robotic suit
Yeah.
type thing. Yeah.
Word.
So, the two MVPs I think of this fight were Mudman and Iida, and we come back to them both because Mudman swoops in to save the day, to make Todoroki sink so he can't use his Fire Fist, and to kind of save Tetsu because he's like, yo, Tetsu, you're gonna melt, you gotta get out of there. And then Iida swoops in also, kicks him in the face. He has kind of like a little flashback about rescuing people, because Iida's faced now with the ability to take everyone to jail and just leave Todoroki, or to try to get Todoroki out of there. And he flashes back to his like, I kind of consider this sort of like his redemption arc when he was with Stain, about how he went there for vengeance and he didn't even think about trying to save the other hero. And so he thinks about that, and he remembers like, he's like, all the cool people put rescue first. He thinks about his brother, and
Yep.
when like Midoriya went to go save Bakugo, so he decides he's always going to have rescue be his first priority. And so he scoops up Todoroki to get him out of there. And he even says like, he's like, yo, this is hot. And he's like in a robot suit, so I cannot even imagine, like, Todoroki must have been a gajillion degrees.
This is a good
Get out of there.
this is a good example of them doing some repeat filler stuff that we haven't seen like a ton at this point. Because my complaint for this season, I'm sure all of our complaints for this season has been like they haven't shied away from reusing things that we've seen as recently as the previous episode, sometimes like earlier in the episode. Like it's gotten to the point where it's annoying. But for them to flash back to some things that happened in the Stain arc today, to be able to sort of give context to the sort of progress or growth that Iida's had over the last 2 seasons, I'd guess. 3 seasons, 5th season, not 2nd season, 4th season. It was a really well done, clever way to reuse some old footage that didn't feel forced or annoying. It provided content. It was a good example of it, and we've had so many bad examples of it in this entire season. So just wanted to stop and point that out. Also, little kid Iida standing behind the caution line with his fist up, being like, yeah, that's my favorite Iida, bar fucking none. Like the greatest, the best.
No, I agree. He was so cute. Do you guys think that he did the right thing though? Do you think that he should have been like, let me just scoop up these bad guys and take them to jail real quick? Or do you think that it was the right move to scoop up Todoroki?
Short answer, Kelly. Yes. Feds, how feel you?
Well, yes. I feel like he did the right thing because he's trying to be a hero, and that's what heroes do. They save people. They put people before anything else. They try to limit the damage as much as possible. So I think he did the right thing in that context. But I mean, he does end up costing his team a possible win by not going and just scooping everyone up and like, yo, I'm gonna just run to jail real quick. See you guys later.
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
What I really like about how it wraps up is he's given that similar choice, like rescue or capture. And then homegirl, pony girl, Rocketti, there we go, committing a real hero name to memory. Rocketti has a similar sort of plight where it's like, I can either go up high or like try to get away. Once everything happens at the end of the episode, like it's a similar sort of question that ultimately lets her take the route of going into a draw. With Iida earlier on, I feel like, especially given that there's been examples in the series of like rescue points is exactly where my brain went when the entrance exam arc with Deku saving Uraraka, right? There's so much anime that I'm trying to pull from right now. This is hurting my brain, but the idea of like prioritizing rescue over the defeat of your enemy has been something that's kind of been harped on a few different times in the series, and that was my first thought when this scene happened, like prioritize rescue over prioritize, beating your enemy. I'm glad that he thought to do it. It's at least an example of like a growth in his maturity a little bit, especially given like so much of what he's doing right now is meant to be directly paralleled with what he did in the Stain arc. So it makes sense, given the flashback, given the circumstance, he did what he did. He did the right thing. Way to go, Iida. I love you. You could be my class rep every goddamn day of the school year, but not during summer vacation.
Hey, yo, with these new engines, he's mad strong now. Like, he's no joke. He's like one of the strongest in the class now. By far.
Hardcore had a crazy glow up for sure.
Yeah.
He pulled mufflers out his calves while biting on a cloth in the woods by himself.
With a towel in his mouth.
Dude paid his dues, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think he did the right thing. I think it shows that he must have really been thinking about that a lot. You know what I mean? And I feel like it solidifies the type of hero that he wants to be. I think that because we talk sometimes about people being really sure of their quirks and stuff, but I still feel like a lot of people maybe waver in situations where they're not sure what they should do or what the right thing to do is. And I think that Iida feels really sure that,
especially his quirk too. He could be very easily like a guy prioritized for rescue when he grows up to be a pro hero, or a guy who could be prioritized on like big, fast, sudden attacks. Like he's got that sort of quirk, not unlike Todoroki, where it's like, it's pretty much an offensive sort of deal for Todoroki.
Yeah.
Right.
Iida, he could go either way.
Yeah, it's true. It reminded me a little bit of like how everyone says Hawks is so fast, and he like uses his feathers all the time to like be really helpful. In a way, it kind of reminded me of that a little bit. But I just wasn't sure if you guys thought, I don't know, that he kind of like let down the match or whatever.
No way. He'll run anywhere for anything or anyone, and I love him for that.
Yep,
me too. Poor guy though. So, he's trying to get out of there with Todoroki. Mudman, because like I'm saying, he was just the MVP. He's like thinking that he can't just let his team lose. And he thinks about how Momo, when she was like gonna go be out of commission, that she at least was able to give them some goodies to help them win. So he's like, I'm gonna melt this tower Tetsu come knock it over, and the tower falls on freaking Iida. It's all melted. He's stuck. Everyone's out. And then they're just like all out for the count. So I was like, wait. Wait, what's going to happen? How are we going to win the fight?
Yeah.
Like, what? After all this crazy fighting.
There has to be a conclusion.
And that's what I was thinking. I was like, all this crazy fighting, all of this like pumped up action. I was so into it. Everyone's showing me all their plus ultra and all their training. And I'm so proud of them. And then they're all just unconscious on the ground.
Yep.
Like, this was not cool.
Way to go, everybody. Y'all got your asses kicked at the same time. Great job.
And like you said, that Pony girl is like, I can't leave my teammates, but I got to take Todoroki. I'm not going to make it in time. Shoji's too fast for me. So she just kind of floats out of the way in the timer. They run out of time.
Tentacle versus Rapidash. That's what that shit was. Like, they literally, like, he's doing his Kachutenshin and Maguriken technique, and Homegirl's doing her horn drill. It's a Goldeen versus a Tentacle. Legit. That was the one scene that I got a little bit taken out of, because I was like, Pokemon. Yeah, I love Pokemon, bitch. And what? That's the only scene that kind of took me out of it for a second, because she's such a ridiculous character. Shoji is such
crazy.
A ridiculous visual. He's a cool character, but I hope he gets a little bit more time that doesn't revolve around the fact that he's got like 16 eyeballs and 4 ears and 55, extra things going on. I want to spend some quality time with that dude. Take off the mask, get to know him a bit.
I thought you said he was ugly.
He's ugly as fuck, but maybe I wouldn't think that about him if I got to know him a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So we've won a match, we've lost a match, and we've tied a match. And the kids all go to Recovery Girl, which I now find real suspicious. She gives me the creeps, I'm not going to lie.
She likes to kiss kids. Shut up, Kelly.
Before we go here, though, did you guys like that it ended in a tie? Or should there have been some kind of definitive winner?
Kelly, you go first, because I have feelings on it.
I don't mind that it ended in a tie. I don't like that it ended in a tie because she like floated out of the way and they ran out of time. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have minded if it ended in a tie because they'd gotten the same amount of people in jail or something, or if they like had, I don't know. I guess it's bad to say that they were all unconscious or whatever, but I don't like that she kind of like floated away, which I know is not fair because I did say that like Iida, I think, made the right choice with rescuing. And then when she does it, I'm kind of like, pussy ass bitch. You know what I mean? That's not fair.
Nice.
But I think it's fine that it was a tie, but it wasn't my favorite. I would have preferred maybe if they lost. I feel like 1A needs to get taken down a peg.
Yeah. Kyle?
In terms of the way it ends, right? So last week, me and Kelly are doing this thing. She's like, each match is limited to 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I guess I missed that. And I'm sure I probably did in one of these early episodes of this super repetitive season. I just glossed over the fact that they laid down the ground rules. Each match is 20 minutes. Going into this episode, I didn't think that the time limit would play into it, but maybe I should have suspected it given that Kelly dropped the hint last week. My point is, as much as we've seen for this particular battle, I feel like it's less than what we saw for the previous two battles.
Agree.
The fact that the time limit came into play in this battle and not the previous two battles wasn't even mentioned, talked about by any of like the talking head, spectator cast off to the sides.
Mm-hmm.
The time it's never even been talked about. So for it to end that way in this episode, I was like, ugh, what a fucking cop out. But at the same time, I'm like, well, at least we're moving on to round 4,
right,
which is great because I want to get through this. I want to see what happens in the second half of the season because this first half is not doing it for me at all. Like, we picked a shitty goddamn season to launch off into its own fucking podcast feed because I literally want to burn this shit down every goddamn day. This season sucks ass. This episode, though, was fun. I just wasn't expecting the time limit to be now of all the times. Like, why not when I was dealing with, I don't know, I guess the Tokiyami stuff was cool.
I
They've
think
done
that
a nice
Momo's
job.
fight seemed way longer. Like
They've done a nice job escalating the matches with like students that you should have like a particular amount of interest in too. Like Froppy 1, Yo-Yo and Tokiyami 2, Iida and Todoroki 3, Bakugo next week. He's pretty much the only one I care about. Although this Tokage, I got some questions. And then Deku in match 5. Like they've done a good job escalating it appropriately in terms of how much you should care about a specific character. But really, you got to pull the time limit shit this week. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That's so dumb.
Yeah,
Iida moves at super speed. It makes no sense that this is the one to fucking have the time limit factor in.
Yep. I know. I didn't like it either. I mean, you know me, I'm a sports fan, so everything's gonna have a definitive winner for me. So, like, that's why I didn't
Goddamn
like it.
right.
And Kaminari was like, I was like, yeah, man, I agree. Very unsatisfactory.
Oh, yeah, he does say that.
Yeah. Like,
unsatisfying.
So unsatisfying.
That's true. I do agree that I feel like of all the fights, this fight felt really fast paced. So it felt like it wasn't 20 minutes. I feel like the last fight with Momo and like the mushrooms and all that stuff, I feel like that fight seemed like it went on for ages.
Yep.
It did.
Like that's the one that should have had the time limit.
Like that's why I was thinking to myself when you said that in the last week's episode, last recording that we did, I was like, really? Everything that I just saw with the mushroom and the Shadow Kid and Tokiyami and the cannon, and that was less than 20. Like the time factor wasn't even talked about. That chick grew all those mushrooms, walked around and moisturized them with the little spray bottles, talked shit to her emo shadow boyfriend, all in under 20 minutes. They never even talked about a timer. But Iida moving around at super goddamn speed for 10 minutes in today's episode because the first 2 minutes of him moving at super speed was from last week.
Yeah.
That 10 minutes somehow equates to 20. I'm calling malarkey. I don't like it. Not one bit.
Yep.
Well, at least it's over. And we can have a Bakugo fight next week. I'm so excited. I can't wait. Real quick, when they're in the hospital, this is the other part I really liked about it is that Iida and Todoroki both are kind of reflecting about like, you know, their powers. Like Iida's like, I should have been one step faster. Like I have to work on that and get faster. And Todoroki's like, I got to stop relying on my ice powers always first. It's like ingrained in me.
I have to relearn the shit that I relearned 2 seasons ago. Yes.
Yeah. Like I've got to kind of just like get a grip on it, whatever.
Yeah.
But I liked it because like it shows, I don't know, the other team, like 1B, they're like, let's do it again. It just is like camaraderie. I liked it.
Tatsu coming through that curtain and being like, wow, that flame was crazy. I like him being so excited and happy to like Mudman does it he does it in a different way. And Iida and like all 4 of them have very much the same approach to wanting to improve their skills or whatever. But like Tatsu's Goku. Like that's a Goku line straight up. Like, I can't wait to fight you again. Oh my God, that was so much fun. Like that dude has been making a career out of that shit since 84. And Tatsu borrowed it this week, and I appreciated it because he's a simple country hick who turns into steel. It's like my boy Son Goku. I was gonna sing a song. It's called Watashi wa Son Goku, sung by Hironobu Kageyama.
What do you mean you were gonna? I want to hear it.
Nah, I don't think y'all are ready for this, jellies. Also, my pronunciations are not very good, so I'll spare you. Son Goku. Bam, 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 bam. I opted for the sound mer over me trying to hack up some Japanese.
Well, I liked it. That was great.
One of these days, I'm going to do Dragon Ball Z karaoke in Japanese only, and y'all will be like, oh me, oh my, Japanese Dragon Ball Z karaoke.
That sounds so fun.
This is how I live. Yeah, my whole life's fun. Yep.
Oh, man. Well, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, if I go to Command Con 3, ladies and gentlemen, y'all might see me in July.
Nice.
I'll be first in line at Danny Geekdom's table. Listen, that's pretty much the end of the episode this month. This week.
Wait, real quick.
Yo, what do you got?
So we see Monoma, right?
Oh yeah,
And I
Dude,
saw
that guy's
a
gonna get
tweet.
my fucking foot broken off in his ass. He's so annoying.
saw
It was his birthday the other day.
Notes, Monoma is still insufferable.
It was his birthday last week, but I don't even want to talk about his
fuck
birthday
him.
because I fucking hate
He
him.
doesn't
Yeah,
deserve
we
a
don't
birthday.
have to.
Oof.
I saw a tweet that almost ruined my life, but I'm choosing to just suppress it, where this person was like, Monoma and Bakugo have the same personality, and now I can't unsee it.
What?
Don't you think
No.
so?
Nope.
No way.
I totally see it. Yeah.
If by the same
just say
personality
different
you
things.
mean they say different things, do you
Yes,
think they have the
like
same?
they act the same way. How he's so
Monoma
dramatic.
is constantly screaming. Bakugo is a character who mutters his insults in such a low tone way most of the time until he explodes and yells for 2 seconds. Monoma is constantly at 11. Bakugo operates consistently between a 3 and a 6,
Okay.
up to a 9 if he has to make his point heard.
I was panicking. I was like, no, I love Bakugo. I can't let this
Whoever
affect
said
me.
that to you,
It was just a
let me
tweet.
know their name.
They're
Oh,
dumb.
find the tweet.
All right.
I'm going to track that person's
Yes.
IP address. I'm going to send them a private message and say, I know where you live. You better change your opinion about Monoma and Bakugo's personality,
Phew.
or else I'll come to your house and break my foot off at your ass
All right, good.
like I
'cause
want
was
to
like,
do to Monoma. He's like the most annoying fucking
He
character.
is so
ever.
annoying.
There is not, like, everyone shits on Mineta because he's a super fucking pervert or whatever. At least he's kind of funny sometimes.
Yeah.
Monoma has never been funny
No.
doing his little shtick. It's funny when Kendo pops him in the goddamn
Yep.
brain.
Yep.
That's not Monoma doing anything funny. What is the point of this character? Because he die? Tell me he has a fucking heart attack next episode. Does Monoma have a heart attack in match 4, Kelly? You can spoil that manga for me.
He's
Please
not
go.
in match 4, so
Oh, is he in 5?
yeah.
Does he have a heart attack and die in match 5?
Mm.
There is no God. There's no justice. Where is the justice? It's not fucking here.
Where's
Real
the fucking
quick.
justice?
Fucking Feds knows what I'm talking about. Death Note Superdome. Where is the justice?
You just
Anyway.
reminded me though of a really funny thing that Mineta says when they're talking about Iida, and they're like, "Yo, Iida, it's Deku and Ochako and Mineta," and they're like, "Yo, Iida's like cool as fuck. Like, when did he get so cool?" And
Oh, yeah.
Mineta goes, "Yeah, Deku, it's when he started doing that shoot style. He had to start getting better to get his individuality back." And I thought that was so funny.
I thought that was a different kind of way to approach that situation, because Deku immediately follows it up with, I'm going to have to ask him to
Yeah,
show me
about
how to
some
kick
kicks.
again.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of how that sort of germinated and came to be in conjunction, because it was around the same time as Gran Torino showing him
Yep.
to do the thing and think about your power in a different way. I honestly, until Mineta said that, I don't make a huge amount of connection between what Iida did today or had done previously and Deku's shoot style, but
No, but I just thought it was funny.
it was cool to see Iida fucking reclaim the super Deku kick by kicking Mudman's
Right in the
mask clean off
face.
of his head.
Yeah.
Like that was
Nice.
dope. Super dope.
Super dope.
That's the name of our show.
Plus Ultra. Yeah, but you're right.
Yeah.
That's the episode. Monoma is being annoying as hell. He's like, can't wait for the next match, especially because Tokage is in it.
Yeah, all right. So I
Yeah.
wrote this down. Tokage versus Bakugo. We've never heard her name until now, right?
Mhm.
All right, good, because fuck them for like even trying to imply that like Tokage is on the next team, blah blah blah. We've, as an audience, have never heard this character's name before, to the point where I'm like, wait a minute, what am I not remembering? Is there a lapse in my memory? I don't think there is. I remember weird shit from when I was 5 years old. I don't think I'd forget this fucking one super buff ass blue suited character from one. I wouldn't forget this character, but the way that they frame it today is like, you should know about this character. And I know that next week I'll find out about this character, but fuck them for framing it in a way where I feel like I should already
If they
know
were hyping
about
her
it.
up.
Yeah.
Like, you've talked about her before. Like, we've
Yeah.
once seen something about her or heard something about her. No. Like, if they wanted to play it like, oh, we really don't know anything about her. What's this about? That makes a window for your audience to be able to connect with the characters of 1A to figure out what this Tokage girl's up to. I don't like the way they did this. Fuck them. I hope this character sucks ass. I'm sure she won't, but I hope she does.
You're right though, because like we have the sports festival, and in the sports festival we did get introduced to a lot of the 1B characters that were really cool and powerful, and we really don't ever see her. But they make a note to say that she's pretty nasty.
Yep.
And that she
The
got
other
in
recommendation
on
spot.
recommendation. Yeah. So I think her costume looks cool. I think she looks like a hottie with a body. I'm just saying, she's my type. And
She looks
I'm
like
looking
she
forward
would
to this fight.
masseuse you into lesbianism.
I mean, you know,
Am I
doesn't
wrong?
take much. So
That's true. Very true. Doesn't take much. Great
take much.
fucking. So Tokage next week versus Bakugo.
Yep.
I don't know what her quirk is. I'm sure you do, Kelly,
I
but
do.
I don't want to know
I'm
because
not
I
gonna
want to be
tell you.
surprised. Even though they made it sound like maybe I should already be aware of who this character is this week, which was very dumb.
Her quirk, because I'm not going to tell you, but it does remind me of another thing from One Piece, which I thought was really funny. So
Oh,
I'll tell you.
So next week.
episode. Yeah.
so this is great. I can constantly refer to Dragon Ball and Ranma. You can constantly refer to One
One
Piece and
Piece.
Haikyuu.
One Piece.
Yeah, I got an email the other day from Quora. That's how you say that, right?
Sure.
It's the social media website where people ask
QURA
questions.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it? I think it's Quora is how you're supposed to say it, right? I don't actually know,
Neither
but
do I.
the email that I got, the subject line was, "How realistic is Haikyuu?" And I was
Oh.
like,
Eh,
"Oh, that's a weird question to ask," and I
it's not
almost,
very.
of course, it's not because they're like,
TV show.
it's also a cartoon,
Yeah.
Right. It's not
so
accurate.
automatically not realistic at all because it's drawn on fucking pieces of paper. But I think they had more questions about like the physics of volleyball, and then some nerd proceeded to answer those questions. You, Kelly,
Yes.
next Monday, what are you doing?
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot because I went to the aquarium and saw an octopus and thought it was super cool and not really gross and ugly, like some people think.
Did you name it Tentacle?
Tentacle? I didn't, but I should have.
Sorry, Tentacle.
Yeah, next week. So for Monday, I'm gonna just have to record a little like update blurby business and post it with one of our episodes on my Haikyuu feed, because I'm sure that people who watch Haikyuu watch My Hero Academia. Everyone watches My Hero Academia, so
Even my mom
Get them
watches this
bitches on
shit
here.
now.
yeah.
I'm just kidding. My mom don't know.
I was
what-
about to say, your
what
mom
anime
watches
is.
this.
Imagine, you know my mom.
Yeah,
dude.
I
She's
know.
the worst. She'd never watch this.
Yeah. My parents are so funny. They call it like my little show. They're like, "How are you doing with your little show?" I'm like, "Great, thanks for asking."
What you should say is, don't fucking ask it like that, Mom.
No,
That's what
like-
you should say.
Like I'm like, well, it's a podcast. Like the terminology is not that difficult, but
I was straight up running a podcast business for like 2.5 years and producing 7 shows a week between my own shit and clients. And one day my mom was like, "How your little podcast going?" I'm like, "I'm going to fucking ask you to reconsider what you just said to me and ask it a different way." She's like, "Well, what do you mean?" I'm like, "Never mind. Don't ask me about it."
It's good. Thanks for asking.
Nah, dude, how's your little podcast is doing? I'm like, they're paying my bills.
So
Are they still little podcasts? You wanna think about a fucking less condescending way to ask that question? You asshole.
yeah. Like,
Ugh. Anyway, guess what?
what?
Chicken butt. It's May 17th. Right?
You got any
Yeah, it is.
birthdays?
Sorta, not really. So the next one is Kose Subaraba, which is the dude who makes those wind
Oh,
things.
the air prison guy.
Yeah, air prison boy. That's on the That's on the 19th, excuse me. The 20th though, Kamui Woods,
Ooh.
Nice.
one of the first pro heroes we see in the series, with his lacquer chain prison, scooping up some stupid
He's like a
unknown
shark
fool.
man.
Shark rat thing.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
weird.
Yeah. It was ugly.
Yeah, it
I was
was.
happy he put him in the
Yeah, it
lacquer
was
chain
ugly,
prison.
right?
Yeah, those are as close as we get. Monama's birthday was the 13th, but I already made my point about him. I hope he has a heart attack and dies.
Yeah.
I'm wishing that
Terrible
upon
birthday.
a fictional teenager in an anime. That would be great if that happened. And Ojiro's birthday is coming up on the 28th.
Nice.
So is Aoyama's on the 30th.
Aoyama.
And Feds is on the 31st.
I am.
Oh, happy birthday, Feds.
Thank you.
And then my birthday is soon after that. I think I'm going on a canoe trip with Nick and Michelle, which who knows how that's going to go.
That sounds so fun. Do you not want to say how old are you going to be?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to be 34.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
Are
cool,
you?
I guess. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
You're almost the speed limit. That's cool.
Yeah, almost the speed limit, you're right.
I mean, he already is the speed limit.
I've been a
if
speed
it's
limit for like 9
25.
years, but yeah.
That's cool.
So,
Kyle,
yeah.
are you also going to be 34?
No, I'll be 32.
32.
I don't know how old
Alright.
I'm going to be.
Nice.
89, so 32.
Yeah.
I forget how old I am constantly. The other
That's
day I thought
normal.
I was already 32, and then later that day I thought I was 30. So I'm currently 31.
Well, time's not real, so.
Yeah, it's a flat circle, and who gives a fuck? Because I've
Mhm.
always looked this way since I was 12.
So you
Been
can
drinking
just-
that way since I was 12 too. Who cares?
Hey.
Hey.
But next time we get together, we get to
Hey.
celebrate Ojiro and Aoyama. So
Yeah.
Can't stop twinkling.
cheers it.
Treacle.
That's my favorite Aoyama shit right there.
Yeah, me too.
And whenever we watch the ending credits while I'm waiting for the preview in this season, and he's in the supermarket with his 2 big hunks of cheese, I'm like, go on, boy. Go on. Get your cheese on.
Honestly, I
love you,
love
Aoyama.
cheese, so I'm into it.
Anyway, before we get out of here,
Mm.
ratings and reviews, make sure you go over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating or a review.
That would be
Read us the
excellent.
review. Leave us the review, because then I'd be like, oh, let me read this review. From Ramirez, the Spanish Egyptian, 5 stars.
Nice.
Oh, wow. This is a fun one.
It is.
The solid
So-
review.
Thanks for the brief but effective review. I like
Straight
that you
to the
started
point.
it off. I like that you started it off with, oh, wow. Like you were trying to express the surprise.
Yeah, like didn't have high hopes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow. I expected this thing to suck ass. It didn't.
It's actually pretty
5
fun.
stars. This is a fun one. So thank you, Ramirez, the Spanish Egyptian. I appreciate you, my
Fabulous.
friend. You're my friend now. If you want to leave us a review that helps us out, helps other people find the show, because then it like suggests the show to other people. So if you're listening to this monstrosity once a week, good for you. Leave us a review. Thank you.
And
1, 2,
also
3,
follow me on
that's for me.
Instagram.
Oh yeah, at
Send me a
Superdope
message. I answer 'em.
Plus Ultra. She answers. You can theorize. She'll comment on your fan art.
Yeah, I will.
Maybe even share it to our Instagram stories.
Nice.
What else? Super Dope Plus Ultra is a good time. I make Dragon Ball Super Dope. That's a thing I do. I'm talking a lot about the word vindication this week. If you need to look up what vindication means on Google, don't do that. Just listen to Dragon Ball Super Dope, because I'm gonna tell you all about it. Vindication. What a fucking asshole. Anyway, Feds, you got anything going on?
No.
Hell yeah. Come on, Super Dope, whatever you want, buddy.
All right.
Yeah,
cool.
join us more often.
Yeah,
it's fun.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Either way, Jose,
Uh,
that's gonna do it today.
preview?
Oh yeah, the preview.
Yeah, next week, Tokage. Cool. Bakugo's
Bakugo.
gonna whoop her ass.
It's called
Yeah.
Early Bird.
But Deku does
do
reference Bakugo changing fight styles.
Yes.
He's an early bird, right?
Mhm.
What I hope next week's episode is just a series of flashbacks of Bakugo going to bed very, very early, so that way he can wake up very early to train under the cover of an early morning, so that way he can learn a new fighting style to whoop Deku's ass. I'll also point out that it's pretty notable at the end of this episode, he doesn't seem too concerned with Tokage, but
No.
does seem very concerned with making a statement to Deku, which
Mm.
is kind of sad in the most adorable of ways, because he's having a real tough time with figuring out what his worth is now that he knows that Deku was chosen over him. And this is going to be a fun little example of him basically peacocking for Deku. Not for anybody else, but for Deku.
Very nice. I definitely noticed that too. I was like, oh, Deku, watch out.
Yep.
This is for you, buddy.
Just watch Dan Deku.
Yeah, I'm going to be fighting you with my actions, even though you're not in this match at all, and I can't fight you. I'm going to fight you with my actions and thoughts and words.
Yeah.
To myself.
I'm excited. I'll wear my Bakugo shirt every day.
I will wear I'll wear clothes next time.
In case you're wondering.
What?
Kyle's totally naked this whole time. So you
Yeah,
better check out the video.
Yeah, youtube.com/ the link's in the show notes. We don't have 100 subscribers, so we don't have a vanity link yet. So why don't you go subscribe? You chud. Thank you. Chudzilla.
Oh my
I'm
God.
just kidding. You're
Let's
not a
wrap
chud.
it
Now
up.
that you click subscribe, you are great. You are no longer Chudzilla. Yeah, make sure you rate, subscribe very positively. Take out the chud stuff that I just let out there, and talk to you next. See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Fucking gonna raise my hand with the peace sign, and I'll
Kyle
see
needs to
your
get
ass
some
next
oat
Tuesday. I don't like oat milk, it does not get me the milk farts, and I don't like the stuff.
No.